Hello? Yeah. So we'll start with the prayer. Starting prayer. Once again. Sit with your back straight. You can also do standing position. Inhaling, take both the arms over your head. Exhale to heart center. Close your eyes. Inhale again. Together. Sanghachadvam samvadadvam samvo manamsi janata deva bhagam yadha purve sanjanana upasate sanjanana upasate sanjanana upasate. Om. Inhale, take the hands straight up through the center. Exhale, bring the hands down through the sides. So that's the starting prayer. Now we will start loosening practices. Just a second. Yeah. So we'll do the loosening practices first. Come to standing position. Do soft jogging at your place. So if there is a pain on the ankle or the knee, you have to go a little mild when you're jogging. Otherwise, you can jog whatever possible. And then do back jogging. So when you do back jogging, the heel has to touch the back. Then again slow jogging. So when you do that, the heartbeat will increase. But don't breathe through the mouth. Breathe only through the nose. Then relax. After you relax, you have to keep your feet shoulder distance. Bring the arms in front. Parallel. Fist close, wrist rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hands on shoulder. Touching the elbows in front. Inhaling. Take your elbow up. Exhaling. Bring it to down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2. So I'm trying to rotate with awareness. 3, 4. Checking all the points. 5. Then put the hands down. Arm rotations. Together both the arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4, Then bring the arms in front parallel to ground. Inhale, open the arms, heels up. Exhale, close. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Again, front hands. Twisting the body. Left side. Right side. Left side. Right. Left. Right. Left. Right. One more. Left side. Right side. Center. Catch the waist. Put chin on chest. Eyes are closed. Rotate the neck. 1, 2. Inhalation and exhalation. 3, 4. One more round. 5. Can do it slowly also. 1. Opposite side. 2. So I'm trying to take all the side. 3, 4. One more. 5. Enough. Then we do eye rotations after Surya Namaskara, but we'll do it now in this class. So keeping the eyes on your, hands on the eyelids, open it. Try to open it nice and full, then rotate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to do without closing the eye. One more. 5. Release. Inhale. So now your hands are on the hips. Inhale, nose. Exhale, wall. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Nose. Wall. 1 point. Nose. Stay for some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at the wall. 1 point. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Now, so when you push your hips forward, you have to keep your hands at the back. So gently push it. This is done with an exhalation. Then inhaling, you have to take it back. Like that. 2. So what are you doing? Hip rotation. 3, 4. So if you go in the correct speed, you will be aware. 5. So now change. 1. There is no need to rotate too fast. 2, 3, 4. So I'm trying to take the hip. Did you observe that? 1 more. 5. After doing that, my hand was little on the side. Now what do? I move it back. So did you observe the change in the elbow? It was here, right? When I was rotating. Now I moved it back. My elbow became closer to each other. I'll show you the side view. You can do facing front if you're doing it. So like this. So inhaling, I bend back. Exhaling. How do I bend forward? I bend the navel first. So bringing the body down is important. Head down is last. Like that you have to bend. 2. And down. 3. Inhale, bend back. Exhale. 4. down.
Exhalation.
5, backwards. And down. 5 times over, right? Then join the knees, join your legs, everything, hands on the knee. So here there may be a gap depending on your legs, but knee should be together and the feet should be together. Then knee rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then push the knee backwards repeatedly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. Then drop the hand down. Now spring movement. So when doing spring movement, your hand can be separate. Don't interlock it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when I counted 10, I have reached a good depth. Interlock the finger, show the palm to the mat, put your head down. Depending on your depth, you have to stay in that position. You can look at my side view like this. Just drop your neck and stay there for some time. 2. Normal breath is enough. 3. So you are actually bending from here. The body bends from the top of the thigh this way, not from the lower back. It's not like this. So I try to extend from the top of the thigh and then flexion. After counting 5 there, inhaling, stand up, arms up, heels up, all in the same inhale. Exhale, heel down, toes up, like this. Sorry. No. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, toes up. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more. Inhale, stay there. 1, 2, balancing. 3. Good for the calf. 5. And your knee also. Exhale, heel down. Inhale. So many of you are not doing this hand position properly. See now, till now the hand was like this. So you have to, here it is interlocked finger only. Now you have to lock the palm. So I have to turn the hand. So the full palm is locked now. So you can see the difference. So this is interlocking fingers, whereas this is interlocking the palm, like that. So like that you have to interlock your palm with an inhalation. Exhale, bend your body to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale. So just look at the way I'm doing this. These are all important tips, okay? So you can put your hands down if you're doing it with me. So more than bending to the one side, it is pushing the, see, imagine I'm going to bend to the left. So observe my hip. I moved the hip to the other side. Did you see? I moved hip this side and stretched like this. This is the bend I'm talking about. It should not be leaning this side. It's not a lean. See, this is leaning. So I have to push my hip to this side and stretch this side of the body. There is a subtle difference. So don't lean like this. This is not stretching. So try to take it sideways and balance with the hip moving to the other side. Up. Other side. Up. Left. Exhalation. Up. Inhalation. Right. Up. Left side. Up. Right side. And up. Then exhale, arms down. Where will it come? It will come to the elbow level, like this. I'm just turning to show you. So don't keep it like this. Then we have to walk on the spot. So when I walk, the thigh has to come and touch the hand. Don't bring the hand down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, one more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So when I land, when I stop, my legs are a little apart. So inhale, take the arms in front. Exhale, sit. Carefully you have to sit. Inhale, stand. 2. Whatever possible, up. 3. Up. 4. Up. Last. 5. Stay for some time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, stand up. So what is the sitting position here? See, the knees are away. It's not like this. Keep the knees apart. So what will happen? The stomach will come between your thighs. It will be easy to sit. Like how do you squat? Like that. So it's easy, not very tough. Then inhale, stand. Exhale, catch the waist. Then with an inhalation, I take my left leg front. Then rotate the ankle. 1, 2. With mind, 3. So I'm checking. 4, 5. Change. 1, 2. I'm going slow purposefully. 3, 4, 5. Then I fold the leg, catch the toe. So here and all, normal breath is fine while staying in this position. Then inhaling, stretch the leg in front. Like that. So I'm activating the psoas muscles there. Exhale, put it down. Take the other. Inhalation. Then rotate with normal breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change. Look at my toe. So I'm observing. Is it going all the side? 4. So my mind is there where the action is happening. Then I fold and catch. So in this position, where do I catch? I have to catch the toe, not the ankle here. I'm not touching ankle. When it pull the ankle, it will not work. So I have to catch the toe and pull the leg up. So the knee gets bent fully. Then I stretch it in front, keep a little time. So I'm engaging the muscles to hold the leg in front. Exhale. Then inhaling, I spread. Spreading is an inhalation. Exhaling, I bend. Touch the mat. So the distance is almost 4 feet. Just about 4 feet. Then opposite toe touching. 1, 2. 1, 2. Inhale, inhale. Exhale, exhale, like that. Can you hear my breath? Like that. Other hand up. One more. 1, 2, 1 and 2. Then I inhale, stand up. Full inhale ho gaya. Now exhaling, walk a little and jump. Descend. Loosening is completed. Any queries on what we did till now? Anybody having any queries, you can ask. No query. So we go to Surya Namaskar. So in this, it's about 10 to 12 minutes of loosening. In this practice, almost all the body parts will become active. Joints will be mobile by this time. They will all become loose and ready for Surya Namaskara. When you practice Yogasana, always do at least maybe 3 to 4 minutes minimum or 5 minutes loosening practice. Without that, don't start the practice. Never. Because your body is prone to injuries. Even when you're doing Ashtanga class also, little loosening is good. Okay. Samastiti. Starting prayer for Surya Namaskar. In loosening practice, I don't think I got any query regarding loosening practices today. So I'll go to the Surya Namaskar. Samastiti. Hands are tight, legs are tight. Inhaling, I take the arms sideways up. Long arms. Exhale to heart. Closing the eyes, inhale. So did you observe the Om was quite long? The reason is the inhale that I took was good enough. So if you observe, the inhalation happens, the chest rises like this. When I'm here, let's see. Did you observe? It came here, here and here. The entire lung has to expand for that Omkara. So I've observed many students. So generally what they do, they'll do like this. So this is a practical knowledge that I have seen people doing this. That's why I'm telling. Just observe the difference between the two breaths. Now I'm doing the wrong way now. That's all. They are breathing somewhere here, I mean towards the side, but it's not three-dimensional inhalation. So when you do, did you find that there was an inflation a little better than the first one? So unless you expand and use the entire lungs, your Omkara will be very short. So when you do, then again inhale. So I'm not telling that it should be very long, not that much. At least it should be quite good Om, so that it vibrates the entire lungs. It should not be short one. So focus on a good inhale before doing Omkara. Then we do the prayer. Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham Tattvam pushanna pavrano satya dharmaya drishtaye. Together. So you see that inhalation? Inhaling, take the hand straight up through the center. So when you do that, your back becomes straight. Then exhaling, bring the hands down. Till now, the regulated breath is not yet started. So I have some questions regarding that breathing. So I'll explain few things here, and then when I come to that point, I'll explain more about it. So as I said, the style of breathing in Surya Namaskara is breathing with sound or ocean breathing. The reason for that is that each step in Surya Namaskara, some step may be long, some step may be short, okay, and it's a flowing practice. So each step has to be synchronized with one breath. So unless in the beginning you may be able to do 1 or 2 or 3 rounds with nasal sound, with normal breath, but when the rounds go like 5th round, 6th round, 8, 10, 12, by that time your heartbeats will be high, the blood circulation will be high. Now by that time it will be difficult for anybody to do regulated breathing without controlling it from the throat. So what will happen? Many of the movements will not synchronize with the breathing. What is the danger of that? The first thing is that you will take a negative breath. What is a negative breath? When I bend forward, I am supposed to exhale because my lungs are getting smaller. When I bend forward, my lungs are getting smaller. So the entire duration of the forward bending is done with exhalation. So if I don't regulate my breath while going down, what will happen? Somewhere in the middle, your exhale will be over. Then either you will hold the breath for the remaining time or you will take an inhalation. So that inhalation is called a negative breath. You are supposed to exhale because your lungs are becoming smaller, but you are inhaling. What will happen? One, it will be counterproductive for your lung capacity because yes, you are inhaling when something is squeezing. What will happen? It will work against your lung capacity. So that's why the only method for practicing Surya Namaskara is with breath control. And that breath control can come only with proper ocean breathing. That's the only method. Because you're not having fingers to regulate it. The fingers are all, hands are in movement, right, in Surya Namaskara. So the only method that you should practice Surya Namaskara is with ocean breathing. Samastiti. I'll do a few rounds and then we'll go to the asanas. So I'm looking at the nose immediately. Now my mind starts working for breath regulation, Ujjayi breathing. One or two rounds I will talk and then after that I will do without talking so that I can properly breathe. Ekam. That is inhale and exhale. Dvi.
Trini.
Chatwari, left.
Pancha.
Shat.
Ashta.
Nava, left.
Throat stretching.
Dasha.
Ekadasha.
Dvadasha.
Om Mitraya Namaha. Ekam. Sorry, Samastiti. Gazing on the nose. Ekam. Dvi.
Trini.
Head last. Chatwari, right.
Pancha.
Shat. Sapta.
Ashta.
Nava, right.
Dasha.
Ekadasha.
Dvadasha.
Om Ravaye Namaha. Samastiti. Ekam. Dvi.
Trini.
Chatwari left.
Pancha.
षट. Sapta.
Floating forward.
Ashta. Stomach close to the thigh. Nava left.
Chin up.
Dasha.
Gracefully. Ekadasha.
Dvadasha.
Om Suryaya Namaha. Sthiti. Last. Ekam. Dvi.
Trini.
Chatwari right.
Pancha.
Holding.
Shat. Chaturanga. Sapta.
At last.
Ashta. Stretch your body. Nava right.
Dasha.
Marry the leg. Ekadasha.
Dvadasha.
Om Bhanave Namaha. Sthiti. So I did for, see now I'm talking properly. No, I'm not getting breathless. The reason for not becoming breathless is the way I was breathing. Because see, consciously, see, if you tell me, I would have felt a little more easy to breathe randomly, because there is not much effort required in that. Inhale, then exhale, inhale, in between the movement itself. One of the things which will happen if you do that is, as I said, your lung capacity will not improve at all. It may only reduce. One. Second, the asanas or the postures that you did will not properly penetrate into the body parts. Second. Third one, your mind will not relax. Because what is that? Your breath is winding. It's going fast. The more faster you breathe, the body will become faster. So one of them you have to cut. What is that? So don't worry about your heartbeats. Let it go at its own speed. Keep the thing in mind, come what may, I will breathe only in that sequence, whatever happens. It's okay not to stretch like this. For example, I'm doing that Hasta Uttanasana like this. This is enough. I don't have to stretch further and labor my breath. I don't have to labor my breath and stretch too much to the back. And then when I come back, I'll become breathless. So the mind becomes more relaxed and we ourselves will feel nice and in control. I'm able to breathe nice. My steps are within my limits. So these are the benefits that will come if you do like that. So please don't focus too much on the actual posture. I'm not saying that you should not stretch. Yes, you must. But take time to improve those stretches. Give lot of time to and priority to these breathing techniques. If you see a lot, I have seen many videos about this. Even doctors talk about all these methods of breathing. They say light, slow, deep breathing, come. So all those are very good for relaxing the mind. So when you practice yoga, you should not get stressed out, right? So your breath will protect you. You can come here, ma. Come here. So that because yes, my screen is here. Yeah. So that's how I did Surya Namaskara. Any queries on Surya Namaskara? You can also ask. Anybody on online having any queries, please ask so that I'll explain whatever I know. There is no query, I'll go ahead.
Sir, I have a doubt. Sir, I have a doubt.
Ask.
So in the sixth position, is it compulsory to only be in the plank pose?
No, see if you find it is Shreya, right? Shreya, no? Shreya online, right?
No, Anvika.
Anvika, sorry. So no, it is not compulsory to do a plank. What you can do is do that Ashtanga, because if you find it very tough. So what is Ashtanga Namaskara? 8 points on the ground. So you should remember those 8 points. So when from this is plank, right? From here, plank, when you go down, you can keep the knee down, chin down and chest down. Chin and chest. But initially, gradually, because you are maybe a month or two old now, but gradually you have to learn the plank position. So don't be satisfied, okay, I can keep doing this. Gradually you have to learn that plank, low plank. So from here I'm in high plank, from here I'm supposed to go to the low plank. That parallel plank position, everything in the air. You have to get there someday or the other. Yeah. So initially for a few months, go with that knee down, chest down, chin down method, but keep on trying to go to the low plank position. Okay, Anvika.
Okay, sir.
Good question. Anybody else? Any queries? I can reply.
Sir, why is it important to go in the wave form? What is the significance of the wave or the flow in Surya Namaskar?
Yeah. So see, it's a dynamic. Surya Namaskara is a dynamic action. It's like I equate it to like a pendulum or something. So it starts and then it continues till all the 12 rounds are over. Now, one reason for that I'll tell you. If you stop in a position, see this, you will reach there early. For example, many people do like this. From the high plank, when you go down, they do like this. So what is happening? You're going there and resting there. It's a resting position. I mean, there is not much effort required there. But when you go from that high plank to a low plank, what will happen? You are controlling that movement with your breath and the strength. So see the difference now. I'm here. Now see my movement. So what did I do? I have used my strength to go down. I did not suddenly drop. So there are three things which matched in that. One, the time. See, there is a time required for that action to happen. That is X, let us say. Second is the breathing. Let's say, take it as Y. So that movement was done with an exhalation. So that Y, the timing, the exhalation matched with that movement. Okay. So the timing of movement and the timing of the exhalation matched. What is the other one? Is the action. So I should not finish the action before the breath is completed. So all these three things are synchronized: timing, movement, and the breathing. So these are the three pillars and in that movement. So the reason why we do that is I match the breath, I match my movement, and I match the timing. Now while coming up, so what is happening? You're actually using the body with a strong movement you're making it. It's not like this. And then holding the breath and staying there. So you will not get the desired effect of the Surya Namaskara if you don't do it as per the flow or whatever you asked, the wave kind of movement. Because the effect will come, or the strength will come only when you move as a wave. I showed you, instead of many students, they do sudden movements. They from there, from the top also, from here. Now they are waiting there for the next instruction to come. So that's not the idea. It's not an asana. Surya Namaskara is not an asana. It's a dynamic action. It's not a posture. Surya Namaskara, what is the meaning of posture? Posture means something which you stay and breathe. Surya Namaskara is not an asana. Surya Namaskara is a dynamic action. Yeah, it's a flow. So it moves, starts and doesn't stop. It's like a pendulum. Inhale goes to next, exhale goes to next, inhale to next, hold to next, exhale to next, all that. So it's a continuous flow. Whereas when you are doing an asana or a posture, we stay there and breathe, right? So that's what I can explain to your question. It will improve when you go like that, it will improve the endurance. That is one definite improvement, because you're trying to take your own strength to travel, and the distribution of the body movement happens, so it will take you more stronger. Okay.
And sir, on the breathing, the inhalation and exhalation, which is supposed to be, ocean sound.
Yeah.
Because my breath is not so deep, it is not really oceany enough. So what should be done? Because even in the middle of the after 1 or 2 sets of Surya Namaskar, anyway it is a lot. So how can we increase the capacity?
See, as I said, you have to be very conscious. See, I'll tell you, I used to practice, I'm not saying that you are doing like that. So when I started, when I was in my college days, so I started practicing in 92, when I was in my engineering college. Then till about 95, 96, I practiced. After that, I did not practice for 4-5 years. Then I started again in 2000. Then I did not stop. So initially when I used to practice, I never used to think about breath only. For me, Paschimottanasana means bending forward and staying there. And when I was learning in my place, so the teacher used to ask me to do 10 times Paschimottanasana. So come up, go down, come up, go down, come up, go down. So I used to do like that. So what happens, I'll tell you. See, you will get some physical action. You may sweat. You may reduce weight, or you may become more flexible. All those effects may come. But if you see, there is a yoga, Prashamana Upayaha Iti Yoga. It is there. It is there in our books and all. Mana Prashamana Upayaha Iti Yoga. So yoga is one of the subtle techniques to calm the mind. So it is written in the books. It is not designed to lose weight. That and all may be happening or not, that we don't know. Or these are secondary effects. But when you do practicing without proper breath, what will happen? The stress levels will not reduce. You will get physical action, but you will get still stressed out only. After many years, I realized, I am able to do the things, but I'm not getting that full. I used to see, if I'm practicing 1 hour, imagine I have to go to a movie today. This has happened to me, I'm telling you. I had to go out. So it was already say 4:30. I have to go out at 5 o'clock. So whatever I used to do within 1 hour, 15 minutes, I squeeze the whole thing into 20 minutes. Paschimottanasana, yeah. 2-3 breath ka to ginti nahi hai. I'm not at all focusing. Just stay there for tick mark ho gaya. Then I go to the next asana, Ushtrasana, Vakrasana, next asana. Within 20 minutes, all the asanas over. So what happens is, for the namesake, I did that. So then I slowly started discovering. So when I went to Vyasa and all, then I realized, how this, breathing calms the total practice. So all that. So it's written, breathing is the yardstick of your practice. The reason why we miss this is somewhere in between we miss that, no, we don't think about that breath, and we think about those steps or the physical activity. So with consciousness, if you do it, I'm definite you will be able to improve. Improvement will not come just by practicing without focusing on the breath. Don't think that just by, I have seen people practicing for many years, still their lung capacity is not good. The reason is they did not consciously try to slow down the breath and breathe deeper and into the three-dimensional yogic breathing. The reason is that they are doing Sarvangasana, they are doing Shirshasana, breath is upper lungs only. You will not get the desired effect of that. So what you should do is consciously try to lengthen your breath, regulate it. I have taught many students, I know many students who do it very, very well. The only difference between them and the other person, it is not that their lungs are good. It's not because of their lungs are large or their lung capacity is better than the other person. No, they did conscious effort to do that change. That is the only difference. They did, for example, when you come back from an asana, especially, I'm giving an example. Now, I'm doing Vakrasana, okay? So, Samasthiti. Now I inhale, bend this leg. Bend may be over. So, still I'm not happy with the breath. So, I'm still inhaling to complete my breath. And then I exhale. Exhale is completed. Then I wait for the next step for the inhale to start. So I will not look back before my inhale starts. So I inhale. My inhale is over. Exhale is over. I'm breathing more into this lungs. Two breaths. I've completed exhalation. Now, when I turn to the front, my inhalation should be good. Full inhalation. So if I did not focus on that inhale through which I turned, how will I exhale well? Not possible. So my mind is not on just the action. So my mind is on the breath. First is the breath. Action is second for me. So I inflate my lungs in such a way during that turning forward, in such a way that my exhale is not, it will also be long. Because it is a simple mathematics that you cannot exhale more than what you inhaled. Nobody can do that. Whatever you inhaled only can be exhaled. So take.
Is there any techniques where inhalation can improve? Because I feel my inhalation is shorter and the time taken to exhale is, I don't know, somehow I feel it's much longer or much easier for me. Inhalation is becoming a little more shallow.
Yeah. So it comes with, as I said, consciously if you start doing it and taking slower and deeper breath. Slow, so it is light, slow, deep breathing. You ask, even all doctors also say same that. Even during COVID times, they ask you to take light, slow, deep breathing. So see, when you do the breath.
Is it from like the bottom of your?
No, see, I'll tell you where is the regulation happening. See, during the in your throat, the larynx and pharynx, below that the trachea is there. So you don't regulate it in the top. So top you will have that upper tongue is there. That's not where the regulation happens. See, near the epiglottis, where it closes the food pipe when you inhale, and it closes the lungs when you eat. When you're eating or drinking, it closes the lungs. When you are breathing, it closes the food pipe. That flutters this side, that side, that epiglottis. Now, when you inhale, that epiglottis which covers the windpipe and the trachea, the entire windpipe, the trachea region, that contracts. The lower part of the throat, lower, it's not here. If you do it there, it will become like snoring. Just observe it. It's snoring there, upper part of the mouth. So don't do that. The regulation comes on the lower part, near the where the windpipe starts, the glottis region. So consciously, what you can do is, while sitting, without any asana, like I'll do with the mic, 1 or 2 breaths I'll show you. So when you're sitting, you can practice this at home. What you can do is take a small.
Phone has no data connection, so I can't help you with that at the moment.
I don't know why it comes sometimes like without doing anything it comes. I'm sorry for that. So this question was there, I think, by Anshuman also. Where is Anshuman? It's not there. I think. It's quite this thing. Everybody has got this difficulty. So at home, when you are sitting idle without doing any asanas, because in asanas that difficulty of breathing may come. So when you're sitting without doing, that time you practice, like just close your eyes, empty the lungs. You can practice along with me. If you want, you can put your chin down. So when you put your chin down, that constriction is easier. It doesn't mean that you should do that while asana is practiced. Okay. Otherwise, you can keep your chin straight also. Just exhale and slowly start inhale. Then exhale it. Inhale again. Inhale. Exhale. Is it coming better now?
But my inhalation is much shorter than my exhalation in terms. I get stuck after a while. This stops.
The reason is that regulation is not enough. You're not regulating that a little more.
That's been my problem. Exhalation I've been able to do. Inhalation it just stops after a while.
It is just see, when in childhood we used to do that fogging the mirror. You remember? We are constricting here only, that glottis region. So just consciously see, that's why I say people who do not practice pranayama, they will not be able to practice asanas properly. Similarly, those who don't do the asanas properly, they will not be practicing pranayama also. So it's not that, okay, I will do only pranayama, I will do only meditation. It's not possible, because the body will not allow them to do meditation, because body is not in my hand. So my breath is also not in my hand. What meditation I will do? Not possible. So in Hatha Yoga, that steps are Liyama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. Like that Pratyahara, it goes to Dhyana, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So that progression is required. So try to, just as you did just now, this Sonal also, when you sit idle, just do little pranayama at that time. Just sit down and slow inhalation, slow exhalation. So you can, with the timer or something, try to increase the length.
But it has to be equal.
Equal, yeah. Samavrutti, it's called in pranayama. There is a book, Light on Pranayama by B.K.S. Iyengar. It's a very good book. just like light and yoga. So in that he writes Samavritti, Visamavritti. So Samavritti means equal duration of inhalation and exhalation, equal discipline. And Visama is a little dangerous, means it's a different timing of inhale, Kumbhaka is different, like that. So that should be done in advanced stages only. Initially keep them equal. In Pattabhi Joy's yoga, Makaranda, there are some asanas where he asks to hold the breath also. So unless we master those Kumbhakas, Bandhas and all, we should not hold the breath. So if for beginners, when you teach also, don't teach asana time Kumbhaka, I mean holding the breath. But there are asanas where holding is there. So just do equal inhalation, equal exhalation, practice when you are sitting idle. Whatever we learn, that habit can be brought to when you practice the asana. It will come with experience, definitely. Don't worry too much. But conscious, and you can compromise. For example, when I am doing, say, now Mandukasana, I have seen many people, Mandukasana, there is no breathing only. So see how I do Mandukasana. So I'm in Vajrasana. This is where we come, in the class. Now I inhale and make a fist. I keep this away. So my inhale is over. It's a 3-dimensional inflation. Then I exhale and now if I inhale properly, the body will rise. Observe that. My exhale is over. Now inhale will start. One more breath. Three breaths roll. Now, did you observe I was rising and falling? I was not purposefully doing that. My intention is not to do that. If I want, I can stay here and I can push my stomach. I can do all that things. But the breath is lost. Then I inhale, come on. So what did I do there? I compromised the final posture for proper breathing. Correct? It actually improved my pressure and all. So when you breathe like that, it tells me or the teacher that he is breathing properly. He is not getting breathless there. I don't push too much so that I cannot breathe only. I just stay there, aram se inhale, aram se exhale. I did not come up too much at the same time. Similarly, when I did Vakrasana, I need not twist too much there. So for example, imagine in this position, I am able to breathe properly. The more, if I twist too much, I am not able to breathe properly. So stop here. When your body is ready for going there, body will allow you to go a little more further. And your breathing will be good there also. So gradually get there without compromising the breath. That's why use breath as the yardstick of your practice. If your breath is labored, that means you're doing too much. Some asanas were difficult asanas, say Shalabhasana or say Mayurasana, were very difficult to breathe in. That time, okay, you can take a little leeway on that. Breathe with your throat breathing only, but maybe a little faster. It's okay to do that. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody other questions? Otherwise, I'll go to next.
Sir, this
I'll clarify the
Mandukasana.
question. Okay. So I had received some questions. We have got that much time only today. Ushtrasana, should we hold the heels or ankles? See, in Ushtrasana, holding the heel is easy and holding the ankles is tough. You can go if you want. Holding the heel is easy, holding the ankle is tough. So when I'm here, Samaskriti, I came to this position. Now inhale, I stand up on the knees. full inhalation. Exhaling, I catch the heels.
Now here it's easier for me because heel is a little back.
When I hold the ankle, the body comes a little more forward here. The ankle is here.
So I have to arch my back a little more to hold the ankle. So seniors can catch the ankle, whereas beginners can. Here the thumb is inside and the four fingers are outside. When you're catching the heels, it's easier. You can keep the palm on the hand on the heels. Generally, the hand will turn.
So beginners can catch the heels, seniors can catch the ankles. That's the reply to that question. So both are fine. As per your own capability, you can do that. Then the other question was, while exhaling, I can do Ujjayi breath, but while inhaling, I am not able to do properly. Can you explain the class how to do Ujjayi? So I explained that already. This question is already answered. I showed you how I was slowly.
Sir, actually, he showed this in the last class, but that time I was not able to hear you.
So I
didn't understand.
Yeah. As I said, what you do when you are not doing asana practice, okay? When you are not doing an asana, when you are sitting and doing pranayama, that time try to breathe in Ujjayi, inhalation and exhalation. Keep some timing. For example, you keep a clock at home, okay, in your mobile or in your parents' mobile or somewhere.
Yes,
And try to inhale slowly with you can put your chin down for doing that. So I'm just showing a inhalation, just one inhalation I'll show. Exhale is over. I think sound is not coming, so I'll put it with sound. So practice this when you're not doing an asana. When you're doing without an asana, practice it like this.
Okay, sir.
Exhale is over. Now I'm going to inhale. Now exhaling. Inhaling again. So like that you practice. So you can start with say 6 seconds, 8 seconds, gradually make it 10 seconds, 12 seconds, 14, 16 and all. So try to get there. So if you do like this at home with a timer, okay, now 8 seconds inhalation I'm able to do. Now try to make it 10, try to make it 12, 14 and maybe around 16. So try to practice like that, it will improve. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Then show me how to do Uttita Padangushtas. I am not able to lift my leg off the table. So in your that class I do that therapy class. I think that you correct. So in Uttita Pada Hasta Padangushtasana, ideally you can do it like this. From Samastiti, Ekam, inhaling, you have to bend the leg and catch it. The same inhalation you are supposed to. So don't do like this. Try to lift the leg upwards. So in Uttita Hasta Padangushtasana, try to lift it up like this. You may not be able to do it initially without a belt. So what you can do is use a belt, or you can use a dupatta or something. You can use a dupatta. No, at home generally it is available. Or some this children, those who are going for karate and all. So what do we do? I exhale here. Inhaling, keep one leg up. Like that. Inhale is over. Now exhaling, you can put this belt. Like this. And catch it properly. Then inhaling, without leaning, just lift it up. This much. And try to balance. So when you lose the balance, don't keep it. If you're going to fall, just keep it down. Don't keep it on the chair because you may fall. The chair is only for starting position. You can do like this also, keep it here. So this is exhalation. Catching that rope, I inhale and try to lift a little up. This is also fine. So I'm actually stretching that leg and activating my psoas muscles. So the more you lift it up, the better. So gradually, you can get rid of the belt or catch a little more closer. You initially let the body be bent, but when you lift up, try to straighten your back. Like this. Yeah, and try to balance there. Slow breathing. After 3 breaths, exhale and keep it down. Then inhale, catch the waist. Exhale and put your leg down to Samasthiti. So as I showed you, with the belt it will be easier. Gradually get rid of that. Inhaling, keep the leg up. Exhaling, hook the toe. Leaning a little front. Inhaling, try to lift it up. Like that. So the taller you can bring it, the better. You can see it has come to almost my shoulder level. You have to bring it up like that. Exhale and place it back, or you can inhale here. Exhale, leg down. So did you see, even when I showed you this, I never missed my breath. The reason is, so that is like in petrol pump, when you go, every time you fill the petrol or diesel, sir, zero dekho, check zero, they will tell, automatic, involuntarily. So that means a foolproof method. So this mechanism of breath should be involuntary within you. Even if you're demonstrating something in your asana, automatically that breath count has to come in the mind. Make it a part of your blood so that it never goes away from the system. Then, next question was, any other standing pose? Bhujangasana. Yeah. Then somebody has asked about how to control the breath during Sarvangasana in Sarvangasana. It's all, see, everything is the same. There also the breath control comes with proper mind presence only. You can observe my stomach, how I breathe. So before going to inversion, I'll show you Supta Virasana, where is the back arch, which part of the back rests on the floor. Urdhva Dhanurasana, how to straighten your knees, improve the back arch. Okay, so first I will do Sarvangasana, then I will come to that, this one, Chakrasana and back bending. Lie down. Inhaling, I take the arms over the head. Exhaling, I point my toe. Now you can see my body is long. Why it became long? Because of that inhalation and exhalation. Can you observe my lower back? I think you can see it. When I stretch, when I'm like this, just see my lower back. The lower back is resting. It's not the original backbone. See that beauty of that inhalation and exhalation. When I inhale, I stretch my body upwards. Automatically my backbone is stretching. When I exhale, I stretch my toes forward. Now you can observe a small gap came here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, why it came is because that is the natural shape of the backbone. So see that importance of just that inhalation and exhalation. That is the point where I have to start from. So I should not do Sarvangasana from here. I have to first inhale, arms over the head, lengthen your arm, exhale, lengthen the legs also. Now my original shape is ready. My toes are pointing. Now I inhale, take the legs up. Now my backbone will not injure because it is in the original shape.
When I lift my leg, the lower back will become flat. Observe that. Did you see that? Now that gap is lost. It became 0. So it's in a bent position. Now exhale, I bring the hands down. Pushing this hand, I roll up with an inhalation. My inhale is over. Now I'm going to exhale. Observe my stomach. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I'm sucking the navel. Inhale. Now exhale. Now inhale, interlock. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Tail of exhale, caught the back. Inhale, spread. Exhale. See how I sucked the navel. Now inhale, catch. Sorry. Exhaling. Inhale. For me, breath is priority. Observe my body movement. Tail of inhale coming. Support that back. Exhale, close. Inhale, come up. Exhale, namaste. So did you observe? See, for me, I am trying to keep breath as the leader. Everything else is a follower. So I finish that, then inhale, come up. Exhale. Did you see how I brought my hand? Where was I? I was here. I did not drop my hips. I moved the hands through my lower back and buttocks. In one exhale, I came back. Then I inhale, take the arm over the head. Exhale, left leg down. Inhale, spread the arms. And exhale. So that's what you saw me how I was breathing in Sarvangasana. Most of the breath was happening through the stomach, lower abdomen, lower lungs. So in Sarvangasana, use more of the abdominal breath because the chest and chin are packed. In Sarvangasana, it's locking the chest. So the upper chest may not inflate as much as the lower lungs is working. So just be conscious about the breath, it will come. Okay, that's the reply to that. Then Supta Virasana, Urdhva Dhanurasana, how to straighten the knees to improve the back. So we will go to back bending sequences. Namastiti. So I'll go to first that Supta Virasana. How do I do? In Samasthiti. Inhaling, fold the legs and pick up. Exhale. Inhale, take one leg out. Exhale, take the other. So I'm sitting between the feet. Now again inhale. Exhale, lie back. So if you hear, the entire back is on the ground only. It is not like this. There is no gap anywhere. Yes, the lower back will have a little natural shape or little more than the natural, but the majority of the back should be resting on the floor in Supta Virasana. Your knees are together, thighs are together, feet is close to the hip, I mean the buttock muscle. Inhaling, arms over the head. When you actually stretch, you feel very nice here. It actually lengthens the back nice and long. Each inhale, I feel far more better. Let's take one more inhalation. Supta Vira over. Exhaling, palm by the ears. Inhale, pick up the chest and put the crown. So initially lift up fully.
And put only the head. That's an inhalation. On the exhale, interlock your elbow. Now start inhaling here. Observe the abdomen. Teeth together. So in Paryankasana, it's just like your Matsyasana only. Then inhaling, press the palm. Exhale, release the arch.
Inhale, arms over the head. Exhale, arms down. So any queries on this? Preeti, are you there? I'm not sure.
Yes, sir. No, sir, I think this was good. I was just confused about the lower back.
Yeah, see, you can
Because
see the
sometimes
lower
I used to
back.
say that
is a
entire
little-
back.
Yeah, it is a little, you can see that gap here. Can you see
Yeah,
that?
correct.
Little arch will be there. It will not be like perfect
Hmm.
flatness. Yes.
And sir, in Paryankasana also, my elbows don't completely touch the mat when you fold your arms and place it, right? So my elbows don't completely touch. I think that's because of the arch, right? Once
Yes.
the arch improves,
Yes.
then the entire arms will properly come.
Perfect. Well, your analysis is right only. So the better the arch, it will be easier to rest your elbow.
Hmm.
So when you do this, try to pick it up high. So don't keep it shallow.
Hmm.
During that inhale, pick it up high.
Hmm.
Then just put your head back.
Then place it. Okay.
Exhale and like that. You'll feel actually
So
it's
do your buttocks also lift up sometimes while lifting up, while trying to lift the chest up?
no, it will not lift.
Buttocks will be completely on the floor. Buttocks will never,
Throughout. Okay.
throughout it's flat. Yes,
Okay.
lower back will be little there.
Hmm.
Then while inhaling, sit up. Exhale. Inhale, lean a little forward and pick up. Exhale. Like that. Then in Urdhva Dhanurasana, it's again connected with the back bending capability only. How good your. So what you can do is one asana that we do in that alternate months where we do that Setubandha Sarvangasana. That will help you to develop your arch little more.
More. Okay.
Yeah, you can try that. So I'll do Setubandha first, then go to Chakra. gymnastic toe. Then inhaling. Inhale. Now exhaling, insert. Inhaling, insert the other. Keep it as close as possible. Inward. Then exhale. You can see the upper chest is also actually rounding. It's not only on the lower back. See, even the upper back is also arching. The chest is bulging.
Yes, sir.
Try to cover up the entire backbone, not only the lower back. And breathe slowly here. When I'm talking, I cannot breathe properly. Then inhale, walk back. Full inhale. Exhale, press. Inhale, pick up.
Exhale. Try to see towards the leg. The taller the better. So seniors must actually step it on the leg, on the hand. So in straight leg chakrasana, keeping the weight in front.
This one also is a good arch, no? Good to improve pattern.
Yeah. Inhale, walk. Exhale.
Consciously inhale. Exhale. Then normal breathe. So one technique that you can try is, I think you used to do that earlier. Like if you want to improve it, you can bring the hip like this. I think you have tried this. Have you tried that?
Yeah. Earlier I used to try. Recently I've not done. Yeah, correct.
If you do that, the distance between your
Automatically.
the arch will increase. But be careful, don't hurt your back. So you have to tame it, gradually.
Yes,
Not
sir. Yeah.
suddenly try. You should not get a pain on top. So if you can slowly, when your distance is less, you can bring it like this.
And when you pick up, the full wheel will come.
Correct.
Get that height and don't stretch. Elevate like.
Okay, sir. Sir, a normal class or something also we can do, right? At least maybe in the second time when we're doing chakrasan.
Yeah.
I can try.
Yes. You'll get time there to do that. Yes, definitely you can try.
Okay, sir.
Then comes to whether to keep elbow straight, little bend up during Bhujangasana. See, Bhujangasana, first we do Ardha and then full Bhujangasana, right? So see, Ardha Bhujangasana is actually targeted to strengthen the back. So when you stay like this, I'm just now going to remove the hand. So what is happening? The body comes up and the weight is majorly taken by the back only, like that. Elbow is not lifted. So this Ardha Bhujangasana is to strengthen your capability of keeping the front lifted up. It is not it is, yes, it's a stepping stone to the full Bhujanga position, but initially when you do that, it is to strengthen the back, not to increase the back bending capability, because if you lift it, actually you can go further back, right? So, but why am I staying here? The reason is, one is a preparatory for full Bhujanga, and then trying to strengthen the back. So it helps me to strengthen the back. Then I exhale and come down. Now inhale, keep the palm at the position of the elbow. Back here, don't keep here. Some people are keeping like this. Keep it little more back so that it comes almost below the elbow. Then your full arch will come. You can bring the head last. Like that. You saw, see, I'm trying to push and try to look back. So the more I arch, the better. I'm trying to put my head back. Exhale. So in Ardha Bhujangasana, elbows are on the mat, whereas in full Bhujangasana, the elbow will come as much as possible straight as possible. You can choose to stay here also, no problem. You find it tough to straighten your elbow, but try to push the body as back as possible. Bhujanga, you have to keep on stretching the body backwards. Each exhale, you can try to improve the bend, and each inhale, try to shoulder open, chest open, chin back, like that, in full Bhujangasana. Then also there is a question like, what way is it different from Urdhva Mukha Svanasana? Many people have asked that. In Bhujanga, your knee, thigh will be on the mat. Here, the knees and thighs are on the mat, you can see. But in Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, it will be lifted up. Nothing is on the mat. Only the feet, the toe. Here my trousers are touching, but my leg is not touching. My trousers are loose. So it's a floating asana. This is Urdhva Mukha. Trying to do full body lifted up, including your knee, thigh, everything. Whereas in Bhujangasana, your knee and thigh will be on the mat. That's the difference between Urdhva Mukha Svanasana and Bhujangasana. Then, why is ocean sound important and why Surya Namaskar is done? So this question already Sonal asked, so I have answered that question. Now open house. Open house. Any questions?
Sir, as I joined late, I could not hear the answer for my first question. In Ustrasana, should we catch our ankles or heels?
Yeah. See, beginning, you can start with catching the ankles. But once you graduate, see, catching the ankle is very easy. You can see here. It's easier here. Because the body gets a little more travel back. If you want, catching the heels, I'm telling you, heels are easy. Because your heel is behind your ankle. When you want to come to the ankle, you have to actually bend a little more better. Because your hip will come a little more front. And the depth of your ankle is more than the heel. Yes. Heel is below the ankle, no? Ankle is above.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is easier. Start from here. If you feel good, reach here.
Okay, sir.
Yeah?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other queries? Anybody has any questions? I can reply. Those who are there in the class. I can see Kripa, Anshuman, Shilin, Himasri, Neelima, Pooja Varghese. Then I've got, yeah, that's it, I think.
I have a doubt in Bakasana.
Tell me. Who's that?
Anvika.
Bakasana. Yeah, I forgot. So, see, Bakasana is not a jumping asana, okay? So, just see how I'm going to do that now. You can do without bricks because in your class, brick is not there. So, what do? I'll keep one pillow. I'll take one pillow. See, it's a pillow is here, ready for me, okay? I keep it in front. So that even if I fall, I'll not hit my face. I roll up my trousers, okay? Then I keep the palm on the ground. Are you seeing me, Anvika?
I can see you, sir.
Very good. So now I'm taking it slow, okay? So I try to bring initially you can do like this. I will show you the simple method. So keep your thigh on the hand. Thigh on the hand, okay? Keep the thigh on the hand. So I kept my thigh. Now I don't jump. I don't want you to jump. So bringing the weight front, try to lift one leg and then the other leg slowly. Did you see that?
Yes, I see it.
So what did I do? I bent the body little front, kept my elbow bending. I kept my thigh on the hand just above the elbow, just on this triceps region. Then what did I try? I tried to shift the weight forward and took my one leg up. I did not jump and took the other leg up.
Sir, after Bakasana, there is another lifting pose that also have a problem.
Yeah, I know that. So, are you able to do this now? What I showed you now?
Yes, and now I understood it, how to do it.
Fantastic, good. Now I'm going to do the second one, which is called the shoulder stress pose. So this, what you did now is called the crane posture or Bakasana, okay? Next is shoulder stress, Bhuja Pidasana. Now what do? I bring one more pillow because I don't want to injure my back. I kept one more pillow here, one pillow here. Even if I fall front or back, I will not hit anywhere, okay? Anvika. Now, what I do? What did I do in the beginning? I kept the hand in front, no? Here I kept it. Now I will keep it back. But I will not keep it from outside. I will keep it from inside, okay? Now see how I'm going to keep it. From here, I keep my hand inside, below, and behind my leg, okay? Did you see that?
Yes, I saw it.
Now what will I do? I will now shift the weight to the hand and just try to lift my leg up. See, did you see that?
Yes, I see it.
I lifted up in the air. Okay, see, I was here, right? So my weight was on the leg. Now I'm going to shift it to the hand. So my hand and thighs are touching again. Initially, it was like this, but now I inserted below.
Sir, so I'm not able to balance in that pose.
It's okay. So that's why now I'll show you. I am also not able to balance. See now. Oh, see, I fell down. So I did not injure because I fell on the pillow. Correct?
Yes.
So that's why the pillow is kept. Okay. Even if I fall, my buttocks will hit on this pillow. So I will not injure my back. So keep the hand behind, below, behind, and try to shift the weight to the hand and try to pick one leg maybe, then the other leg maybe. If it lifts, good. If it doesn't lift, best of luck for the next week. That's it.
Okay, sir.
Then if you can, cross your legs in front like that.
Okay, sir.
Like that. Okay. So keep trying that. So don't jump. So both these asanas, did I jump?
No, sir.
So I never jumped. So you don't jump. Okay. So try to lift your body in the air, keeping the support of your hand. One leg up slowly. Take the other leg up slowly. I may lose the balance, no problem. I try to come up. Try to balance. If I fall, let me fall like this. Okay, putting the head on the pillow, even if I fall forward. If I fall back, this pillow will safeguard my back. Okay, Anvika?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Venu, I hope she's clear. It's okay. So let her join these classes. She'll become clear and clear more and more. And don't drop your legs from your Sarvangasana and all. Slowly come down, okay? You'll not injure yourself. Don't worry.
Okay, sir.
Doing well. You're doing very well. Continue, okay?
Okay, sir.
Your listening is also very good. Your listening skills are very sharp because no, you are able to follow the sequence and all. So your listening skills very good. Hmm?
Thanks, sir.
Good. Thank you. Any other queries? Anybody? Okay, we can speak a little about pranayama now. I think it's 5:38. So, in pranayama, see, first what do? We do Kapalabhati. So, before that, we do the mantra, and then Kapalabhati is a stomach breath. Each exhale will be done with stomach going in. So, how do we do that? You keep the hands in Dhyan Mudra, then take an inhalation, start breathing with abdomen. Keep this out. If beginners can keep one hand like this, right hand. So I'm not pushing my stomach in, I'm just keeping the hand for checking whether stomach is going inside or not. Okay, you can do it very slow also like this. This is also Kapalabhati. Some people are not at all doing, they're afraid, oh Kapalabhati means bada bada kuch cheez hai. Kuch bada bada nahi hai isme. You can do just 2 strokes per 10 seconds also like this. Something is better than nothing, no? Gradually make it case 4, 5, 6, like that, keep on improving the speed of Kapalabhati. And between your exhalation, one inhale is there. Don't do only exhale. Some people are doing like this. Ho gaya. No inhalation only in between. I don't know where they learned this Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati is done with inhale and exhale. Both are there. Only thing is that while exhaling, the stomach goes in. And in between each exhalation, one inhale is there. The eyes are closed. That's all. It calms the mind. You can see by just 10 strokes itself, my head started becoming lighter. I'm feeling, see, the need for breathing is less. Feel calm, relaxed. That feeling will come. All these Kapalabhati, Bhastrika is like that. So that's what I wanted to talk about, Kapalabhati. See that this Kapalabhati is done before Kumbhak Pranayamas. So practice one opening pranayama, which is Kapalabhati or Bhastrika. Then go to the Kumbhak Pranayama, Anuloma, Nadi Shuddhi, Pratilom, any Kumbhak Pranayama. So in Kumbhak Pranayama, put the chin down, put few things there. When you do inhalation, inhalation is with throat control. Like this. I'm going to inhale now. See the depth, I mean the height of the chest. Did you observe that chest came up? So don't do pranayama without expansion 3-dimensional. Some people are not lifting the chest. That's not correct. You're doing only lower lungs, like thinking that their inhalation is complete. It is just no intelligence required. So consciously try to lift your chest also, bulge it up. Common mistake, I'm telling that one. Did you see? I expanded up, side, stomach, everything. So the natural shape, there will be a little back arch when you inflate. That expansion is required when you inhale. When you're exhaling, your fingers are like this. You see this C shape? You kept it on the nose, on the nostrils, like that. And I regulate the outflow. I'm going to exhale from right. Are you able to hear a sound there? Sound of who is on unmute? Did you hear that sound of exhalation, that puncture sound? You can hear that again. I'm going to make that sound again. See that? So what am I doing? I'm just playing around there. So that's what you have to constrict that passage and push the breath through that passage. It's not like this. Where is the constriction? No regulation only. It's a free flow. So pranayama should not be done like that. You have to constrict that passage and regulate that breath. Okay. So do it with proper finger control. Inhalation with throat control. So do it like that. And, I think it's already time. So with that, we can close. Okay. So I hope I clarified most of the doubts which were communicated to me. And please join these classes. I enjoy that. You also definitely will benefit. I am definitely benefiting from all these classes. Okay. Inhale, take the arms over your head. Straight and long. What is the benefit? I get a long back. And then exhale, I come to center of the heart. Center of the heart is here, not here. This is Namaskara Mudra. This is Anjali Mudra. So do this always. Press the palm. Widen your shoulders and chest. Open up your chest. Elbows are wide. This is Namaskar Mudra. Thank you. Namaste. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye. So 5:45.
Sir, bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye all of you, those who joined the class.
Bye.
We keep joining. Yep.